How did two cities, Akron, Ohio, and Accra, Ghana, separated by an ocean, find themselves connected by the same water problem, seeking solutions in another part of the world? Our exploration for solutions would bring us together to form a city-to-city bond. This bond that began with a single drop of water has rippled into an ever-growing and deepening wealth of partnerships. Join us for our exploration from Akron to Accra.
I was one of the people who was fortunate enough to go looking for an answer to a problem of innovation in water technology. So in 2015, the city of Akron set out to find a solution to its Waterways Renewed project by going out to find out what others around the world were doing with reclamation water, water that's reclaimed after use so that it can be returned back to the environment in a clean and mannerable way. Our goal was to imagine that Akron had the cleanest water being returned to the Cuyahoga River of any city in the world. So we traveled to the WATEC conference in Tel Aviv, Israel. We were there. It was our third time being a patron of the water experience, and we met the most magnificent partnership that we could have ever imagined. A city with the same initials, Accra. Accra, Ghana, was there doing the same thing. They were trying to find solutions for the Corley Lagoon project that's in Accra. It has the same elements where they wanted to bring back and to transmit back to the environment those kinds of water projects that would bring clean, fresh water back to the environment. So we met, we started to have dialogue, and a great partnership was birthed out of that. I work in economic development, so those are musical words to my ears. And so I've spent most of my career trying to determine, how do we get better as a municipality? How do you serve the people of your city better? Mayor Van der Poel visited Akron, and when he did his speech to tell us why he was here, he almost said the same thing. I'm here to serve my citizens better. I'm here to figure out how to solve those troublesome problems that all cities face. But at the same time, I want to build that partnership with people like you who have the same kind of thinking. So the Accra-Akron partnership was born.
I was so blessed to be part of a team that negotiated with Mayor Van der Poel from the city of Accra, Ghana, and the city of Akron, an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, in which we found our similarities. And there's so many similarities versus our differences. Basically, at the end of the day, what we found was that we both have the same values, the same wants and needs for our communities. And so that it made it so simple to develop this MOU to begin our relationship and begin our journey to work together to benefit both communities. I'd also like to share that December 15th, whenever we had signed the MOU and Mayor Van der Poel was in Akron, he came to us to sign that MOU. He gave me this, and I was so honored to receive it on behalf of the citizens of Akron that I keep it today, and from time to time I wear this. And I so appreciate it and value this from the mayor.
I became involved with this wonderful partnership between Akron and Accra in 2017 when Global Ties Akron had the opportunity to host Abdul Salam Mohammed Daru as a IREX Community Solutions fellowship candidate who worked with our organization for 4 months. And we discovered when we talked to Sam DeShazier, our board member, that there had been an MOU signed 2 years before with the city of Akron, with Akron and Accra. So we found out about this and realized that we had this great opportunity during the 4 months that Abdul Salam was in town to really develop some multi-sector connections between the two cities. Abdul Salam was there to really work on peace and conflict resolution as his main theme, but he was a nurse that worked in Corbally Teaching Hospital in the center of Accra. And his specialty was in the burn unit. And when we found that out, Sam DeShazier was able to get him into a wound and healing conference immediately that he attended here in Akron. And he connected with Dr. Brian Davis, who was at the University of Akron and very involved with the Heal Ohio conference. That was a statewide conference, and they got connected and worked with some partnerships that deepened immediately into some classroom projects between the University of Akron students who worked on some case studies that benefited the hospital and some projects that they had that needed some attention. So this really developed into some immediate opportunities for Akron to benefit Accra. From that, we were able to have Abdul Salam team up with the burn unit at Children's Hospital and work with the team over there and learn some best practices so that he could take those home with him when he went home to Accra. One of the things that really was an amazing experience is he was living in Highland Square. He was able to experience snow for the first time in his life. He happened to wander out and capture that moment of snow. And the only person that was out in his neighborhood happened to be famous artist Don Drum. The two of them met and immediately formed a bond as brothers. And this video that he posted went viral.
Can I talk a little? I'm from Africa, Ghana. This is the first time I'm seeing snow. I'm so excited to be out.
Are you a student here?
Okay, I'm a professional. I'm here for an exchange with the State Department.
What tribe?
I'm African.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know much about tribes.
I know some of them from Nigeria.
Okay,
Igbos and some of the...
I'm from Ghana. I'm Kutukuli. Great.
So you're Muslim?
Yeah, I'm Muslim.
Welcome.
You Muslim?
No, I'm Christian.
Good. We're brothers.
Yeah, we're very, very close.
Yes.
And immediately thousands and thousands of people watched from around the world, but especially from Akron, Ohio. And he immediately was getting invitations for breakfast. And in the last 3 weeks of his stay, he immediately had friends from all over Akron that wanted to stay connected with him when he went back home in Accra, Ghana. When I had the great fortune, after Abdul Salam went back home, to write a grant to do a follow-on project with U.S. State Department funds to go to Accra and visit for 10 days, one of the greatest experiences that I had was they knew that I, as an artist myself, wanted to experience the arts of Accra. And they put together for me an arts expo. And I was so incredibly honored. They even named me as the international patron of the Arts Expo. They invited the newly named National Minister of Arts for the country. And he attended, which they were so honored that he did. He really was so impressed with the Zongo Arts Expo that he invited the team to come to the Ministry of Arts. And they formulated a plan that immediately became a National Arts Expo the next year. So from a seed that was planted in Akron, Ohio, and that I was able to experience when I went to Accra, a National Arts Expo was formed. So it's amazing how the connections that came from exchanges from Akron, Ohio, can plant seeds that then are nurtured and formed into wonderful impact around the world.
In February of 2019, Sam DeShazier from our Economic Development Department and his wife, Marco Somerville and his wife, from our planning department, and my wife and I traveled to Accra, Ghana, and met with Mayor Soya. We had discovered, again, so many similarities. We had met with his staff. We talked quite a bit about the Public Utilities Bureau that we have and what they have, the challenges that they have and the challenges that we have. We had also discussed cultural exchanges. We'd also discussed ways in which we can benefit both of our communities through further work and even more collaboration, which is the key. We had met with members of Parliament, and we know that there's so many organizations, the University of Akron, for example, Global Ties. All of these organizations are working together to develop this relationship and even strengthen what we have already started back in 2015. We look forward to even more relationship building and more exchanges where both communities can benefit.
Some of the other opportunities that have come from the beautiful exchanges taking place between Akron and Accra are in the ways of fair trade. I met, when I was there, again in the arts area, a wonderful artist, Safia, and we formed a fair trade connection. And we now have fair trade artists from multiple countries. But Safia, we've been connected with her since my stay in Accra, and we are featuring her arts in our fair trade store in North Side in Akron, Ohio, and they're doing extremely well. We've imported her items now since 2017, and they're selling very, very well. And what a wonderful opportunity to do some economic development and women's empowerment and support of fair trade. And it's also a model for our local refugee artisans to show our local refugees how they too can be successful in branding and marketing and doing what they can to sell items in our local community through our fair trade store.
Mayor Soya came to Columbus. He came into Ohio with the idea that I don't have much time, but this is a must-do opportunity for us if we're going to be partners. So between the two mayors and the former mayor, who is now a delegate in the national government, we feel like we have made great friends for life. We still work on innovation. We still work on business opportunities. We're still exchanging through our universities. And with the Colina project today, we have had a cross circuit, a trica of sorts, between universities in California, universities in Ohio, specifically the University of Akron, and the University of Ghana. That is a match where we are utilizing all of the possible resources to do just what we set out to do, to solve problems for both our citizens here and there.